I'm Narendra Verma. As we know that we are dealing with the chapter Nature and Significance of Management in Business Studies for Class 12 as per CBSE syllabus. So in the continuation of the series of this chapter, today we are going to discuss the topic that is functions of management. Right. Now, before going further about this topic, we need to remind ourselves what we learned in the very first video. In very first video, I just told you the definition of management, or you can say it meaning of management or concept of management. So I just would like to remind you that. Now let's talk about everything I explained you that day. But today we are going to focus on this word, the process. Now what this process includes, because we all know that process is not a single stroke activity like I told you in the first video. It is having series of actions, right? Anything becomes process when it has steps in continuation, right? So management also has the same. Now we are going to talk about how the management is a process and how the management works. If any company wants to apply management, then how it is going to work, what step they have to take forward, then what another step they have to take, and how it is going to be completed, and how it is going to restart. Or we can define management as set of functions. It means it has various functions, and today we are going to talk about these functions, right? Let me tell you one important thing about these functions. These are the functions of management as per the CBSE syllabus, right? Many scholars have given, many knowledgeable people of the management have given their views about the functions of management. A few of them have given 5 functions of management which are irrespective of these, or some of them have given 6 or 7 or 8 functions of management. But we are not talking about that. Why? Because it is not the part of CBSE syllabus. We are sticking to our syllabus. Our syllabus allows to study only these 5 functions, right? Now, to remember these 5 functions in a single go, because these have to go in a sequential way. We cannot say that planning first and controlling second. It has to be going in the same way as it is, right? So, the one code I have prepared, I hope you must be liking it. So we'll have to imagine that in a city or in your city, due to some reason, post office services have been debarred. Right. So here P stands for planning, O stands for organizing, S stands for staffing, and D stands for directing, and the last C stands for controlling. So by this code, you can remember these 5 functions in a same sequence. So here we are going to learn these in brief, right? So we need to understand what is planning. See, if I want to talk about the definition or meaning of the planning, it can be easily described as a function of deciding in advance what to do, who is going to do that, how it is going to be done, and when it is going to be done. Means if you want to do any activity or you want to execute any program, any function, any event, then what you will think about it before executing it. It includes everything related to that, right? So as I told you the definition of the planning, that what to do means very first we'll have to think. Actually, let me tell you, planning does not involve any kind of physical activity, but it is more and more a mental exercise, right? So we have to plan in mind. Maybe possible that we are using paper, we are making PPTs, we are making plans in our own way. On board as well we can make our plans, fine, but we'll have to think more while making plans. So planning involves making policy for the company, making rules and regulation, or setting objectives, goals, vision, mission for the company. Everything comes under the ambit of plan. Now this is what is to be done. Now we talk about how it is to be done. Means if a company has set a goal, then how this goal is to be achieved, what method will be used, what route will be used, what is the path for that, that is also in the definition of planning, right? They have to decide that as well. And who is going to do what, it also has to be decided in advance, right? So everything comes in planning. I would like to explain it with an example that may be related to your life. Say for example, you need to organize a surprise party for your brother or sister, right? Now, if you are going to plan a surprise party, you'll have to think about it, that in party, how many things you need. You may be needing cake, you may need some decoration material, you may need some other friends, and you'll have to decide what activity will be done first, what activity done later on, who will open the gate, who will switch off the light, everything you'll have to plan, right? This is what I'm talking about, that what is to be done, who will do what, how it is going to be done, and when it is to be done, right? Same happens in a company. In a company, upper level management or the top level management we call it, they have to take decisions related to the same thing. They have to make strategies, they have to make plans, they have to make frame policies, etc. And they have to decide that what to do, how to do, when to do. Everything comes under plan. Now let's talk about another function of the management, that is organizing. Organizing, the word has come from organize, right? Organize means just to arrange the resources, fine, or we call it procurement of the resources. If you talk about the definition of organizing, that the organizing is the function of allocating the task, assigning the duties, establishing the authority and responsibility, and establishing the relationship with the people, that who will report to whom. Now I explain this definition in detail, what in actual organizing does. Okay, before we go further, I take example again, the birthday party one. So till the thought comes in our mind that we have to give a surprise party, we have planned everything, maybe possible we write it down, maybe possible we talk to some people, we inform them and we take help with them if they are ready. So that comes under planning. But the next step after that is what? Arranging the resources. Like you decided that cake has to be there. You have already decided that which flavor cake. Now you will have to bring the cake. You will have to bring the decoration material. You will have to make the people available, right? So everything related to arranging the resources or allocation of work, because when you are going to arrange a party, then there are various kind of activities, and then you divide the work among the people, among your friends, okay, among your known ones, among your family members, as per their capability. Okay, if somebody can decorate well, then definitely you are going to assign that work to him. Okay, so this allocation of the work as per their capability, grouping of the activities, that everything comes under organizing. The same happens in an organization. If an organization has a plan to achieve a target and they have decided that what route has to be followed, what method has to be applied, and who is going to do what, then the next step comes to arrange everything. Okay, because it's like that, if you are going to fight, if you need to win a war, you need weapons with you, you need arms. Okay, so just arranging those arms and weapons comes under what? Organizing. Now let's talk about the third function of the management. So the next step, the third step is staffing. Staffing means finding a right person with the right qualification or required qualification at right time, right, for the right position. If you are talking about a company, this is what the meaning of the staffing. Okay, now I would like to explain it to you by the example which has been going on. Okay, you are arranging a party, you have decided. Now you have also planned that there should be a kind of singing performance. Now for executing that singing performance, definitely you need a singer. Okay, maybe possible among your friends anybody can sing well. Okay, so you'll have to talk to him, fine, and you'll have to ask him that whether he is free in that duration of the time as well or not. So this step comes under what? Staffing. Because you are arranging a party, you are not running a company, so you do not need more people. But when you talk about the company, then there are various kind of activities, operations, and for those operation and activities we need different people with different qualification. That's why the meaning of the staffing includes finding a right person with required or right qualification for the right position at the right time. At the right time as well, because the opportunity sometimes strike for a business only once. If they can take the benefit of the opportunity, it is pretty well, otherwise they lose the chance. So that is why staffing is another important function in management. Now let's talk about the fourth function. Let me tell you, this is the most important function of the management. You can say that why it is important, why it is most important, because all previous three functions were depending on it, and these were everything related to the steps which are taken before execution of the plan. Actions do not start there. In actual action in the company start with this function, that is directing. Okay, the definition of this function is the process of motivating, leading, supervising and communicating with the subordinates to achieve organizational goal. It has four important elements: motivation, leadership, supervising, and what? Communication. These four important elements play a very important role. Fine. Because when a manager is going to communicate with his subordinate, then he has to be polite and he has to take care of this thing, whether whatever information or instruction he is passing to his subordinate, he is taking those instructions in the same manner or not. So that is why communication is important. Supervision is also important, because a manager has to see whatever planning we have done, the things are going in the same manner or not. If it is not going in the same manner, then he has to guide and counsel the people for the same, right? Okay, and another one, motivation. Motivation is the most important thing, because you are dealing with the people and people need motivation at different phase of life, because that human behavior is affected or influenced by so many activities. Maybe possible something happens bad at somebody's home, and just because of that the person is not motivated to do his own work in the office. So a manager has to motivate him, inspire him to do or achieve his target. Now let's talk about leadership. Leadership again important, because if you are a leader, then you have to prove yourself as a leader. You'll have to go ahead, only then the people can follow you. You'll have to put yourself as an example. You have to influence the behavior of the people. Only then the people can do the desired activity by you. Fine. So directing again the most important function of the management. From here the action in the company start taking as per the plan, right? Okay, now let's talk about the last function of the management, that is controlling. Controlling means already we know the meaning of controlling, but here there is a difference between the meaning of the controlling layman knows. Okay, you have to understand the difference here. Controlling means just comparing the actual performance with the standard performance, and if there is any negative difference, then you'll have to take some corrective measures, right? Because at the time of planning you planned something, you targeted to achieve something. Now things are happening in directing, things have started taking place. Now the act is done. Now you measure your actual performance. Say for example, a company targeted to make 50 units in a week of anything, and you can take the example of this marker. But what happened? They could make only 40 units. So standard performance was 50 units and they could make only 40 units. So there is a difference. Okay, now the management has to inquire about the reasons behind it, because this difference is known as deviation. So you'll have to do the proper analysis, why it happened, what was the reason behind it, and how it can be improved next time. Okay, so that function comes under what? Controlling. So this is all for these function. Today we learned about the 5 functions of management, and let me tell you, these 5 functions of management having relationship with each other. These functions are interrelated. Means planning is related to organizing, and organizing is related to staffing. Staffing is related to directing, and directing related to controlling. That is for sure, because they are going in a sequence. But this is for sure that after planning we go for organizing, after organizing we do staffing, after staffing we do directing, and after that we do controlling. Okay, but organizing has relationship with planning as well as staffing as well as controlling as well as directing. Same case is applied here. Planning has relationship with organizing, controlling, with directing, with staffing. Means these all 5 functions are having relationship with each other. Okay, these functions work in a circular way. Okay, and only then the management gets completed. And another thing is that management, as we have learned the feature of the management is a continuous process. It has to go on and on and on. If you finish one target, then you start planning for the another target. As long as the company exists, the management has to be there. So this is all for today. See you in another video. Thank you.